The following presentation is best experienced with headphones. Greetings, honored guest, and welcome to the House of Branching Paths. Please step inside and follow me. Tonight, the theater lovers among you are in for a special treat. Our great theater returned just the other day, and though it is still a bit dusty and drab, the circle could not wait to share it with you. They have brought the scaldric flame to light the grand chandelier and have spent all day making ready for tonight's show. I myself am very excited. In times gone by, when the house was in its prime, members of the circle would stage such fantastic shows there. It was a constant source of entertainment for us residents of the house, as well as our visitors at the time. All the world may be a stage, but there are few stages as magnificent as this one. Of course, don't take my word for it. See for yourself. Honored guest, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Calliope Theater. Ah, wonderful, you have arrived. Come in, and take whichever seat you would like. There isn't a bad one in the house, I assure you. We've just finished preparing. In fact, here is Lady Morgana now.
Hello, honored guests. It is wonderful to see you, as always. You know, Emrys, I do adore this wing of the household.
Oh, yes. You know, I can recall many a time on the stage myself.
Well, of course. Oh, perhaps you could regale me with a sonnet or two?
I think it might be time for both of us to enter a sonnet, as I do believe I see the crackle of a story on those flames.
The fire burns bright, with stories ever knowing.
Yet this retelling will be a bit different than those we've been given of late.
Yes, I do see it. And let our great circle now turn into the Great Globe Theatre.
You remember our seats? The stage left.
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, but do you remember the night I jumped into the River Thames?
I do seem to recall. Yet I'm not sure how I could forget. You heard something, yes?
There was a stirring in the city of freshwater creatures singing softly into the night. Now, sirens, as you know, are mostly saltwater dwellers, so I was quite intrigued.
Perhaps we should take a trip to the globe once more. Another member of the circle with an affinity for water may be interesting.
Well, I'm not sure you could handle more than one of us.
Alas, tales of sirens we must save for another day. For now we bring you a theatrical treat. One from the pen of William Shakespeare.
When this particular play was written is debated, whether it be 1595 or 1596.
Ah, the 90s.
But we know for certain that this play debuted officially in 1605.
Yes, and dear honoured guests, you may not know that Shakespeare did, in fact, author 3 types of plays.
Oh, yes. Now, this one in particular is a comedy. However, Shakespeare did also pen many a tragedy, as well as a few historical plays.
But tonight, our selection comes to you from a forest in Athens.
A forest in which dreams and reality, fact and fiction, and magic and pixie galaxies all coincide. Tonight we bring you A Midsummer Night's Dream. But room, fairies, here comes Oberon. Oberon.
And heed, my fairies, here comes Titania. Titania. Ill met by moonlight, proud Titania.
What jealous Oberon! Fairies, skip hence. I have forsworn his bed and company.
Tarry, rash wanton, am I not thy lord?
Then I must be thy lady. But I know when thou hast stolen away from fairyland, and in the shape of corn sat all day, playing on pipes of corn and versing love to amorous Phillida. Why art thou here? Come from the farthest step, but that, forsooth, the bouncing Amazon, your buskined mistress and your love, to Theseus must be wedded, and you come to give their bed joy and prosperity.
How canst thou thus for shame, Titania, glance at my credit with Hippolyta, knowing I know thy love to Theseus? Didst thou not lead him through the glimmering night from Periginia, whom he ravished, and make him with fair Aegle break his faith, with Ariadne, with Antiopa?
These are forgeries of jealousy.
Jealousy.
And never, since the middle summer spring, met we on hill, in dale, forest, or mead, by paved mountain or by rushy brook, or in the beached margent of the sea, to dance our ringlets to the whistling wind. But with thy brawls thou hast disturbed our sport.
Forgeries of jealousy.
Therefore, the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up the sea contagious fogs, which falling in the land have every pelting river made so proud that they have overborne their continents. The ox hath therefore stretched his yoke in vain, the ploughman lost his sweat, and the green corn hath rotted ere his youth attained a beard. The fold stands empty in the drowned field, and the crows are fatted with their murrian flock. The 9 men's morris is filled up with mud, and the quaint mazes in the Wharton Green for lack of tread are undistinguishable. The human mortals want their winter here. No night is now with hymn or carol blessed. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air that rheumatic diseases do abound.
From our debate, from our dissension.
And thorough this distemperature we see the seasons alter. Hoary-headed frosts far in the fresh lap of the crimson rose, and on Oldheim's thin and icy crown an odorous chaplet of sweet summer buds is as in mockery set. The spring, the summer, the childing autumn, angry winter change their wonted liveries, and the mazed world by their increase now knows not which is which, and this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are their parents and the original.
Our debate from our dissension.
Do you amend it then? It lies in you. Why should Titania cross her Oberon? I do but beg a boy to be my henchman.
Set your heart at rest. The fairyland buys not the child of me. His mother was a votaress of my order, and in the spiced air by night full often hath she gossiped by my side, and sat with me on Neptune's yellow sands, marking the embarked traders on the flood, when we have laughed to see the sails conceive and grow big-bellied with the wanton wind, which she, with pretty and swimming gait following, her womb then rich with my young squire, would imitate state and sail upon the land to fetch me trifles and return again, as from a voyage rich with merchandise. But she, being mortal, of that boy did die, and for her sake do I rear up her boy, and for her sake I will not part with him.
How long within this wood intend you stay?
Perchance till after Theseus' wedding day. If you will patiently dance in our round and see our moonlight revels, go with us. If not, shun me. I will spare your haunts.
Give me that boy, and I will go with thee.
Not for thy fairy kingdom. Fairies away. We shall chide downright if I longer stay.
From our debate, from our dissension. Well, go thy way. Thou shalt not from this grove till I torment thee for this injury. My gentle Puck, come hither.
Puck, come hither.
Thou rememberest, since once I sat upon a promontory, and heard a mermaid on a dolphin's back, uttering such dulcet and harmonious breath, that the rude sea grew civil at her song, and certain stars shot madly from their spheres to hear the sea maid's music.
I remember.
That very time I saw, but thou couldst not, flying between the cold moon and the earth, Cupid, all armed. A certain aim he took at a fair vestal throned by the west, and loosed his love shaft smartly from his bow, as it should pierce 100,000 hearts. But I might see young Cupid's fiery shaft quenched in the chaste beams of the watery moon, and the imperial votaress passed on in maiden meditation, fancy-free. Yet marked I where the bolt of Cupid fell. It fell upon a little western flower, before milk-white, now purple with love's wound, and maidens call it love in idleness. Fetch me that flower, the herb I shewed thee once. The juice of it, on sleeping eyelids laid, will make man or woman madly dote upon the next live creature that it sees. Fetch me this herb, and be thou here again, ere the Leviathan can swim a league.
The end.
Oh, honored guest, I wouldn't take the power of Cupid's bow for granted.
Certainly not. In fact, honoring Cupid's reign may be the key to finding a true love.
Key? You mean donkey?
You're terrible.
Terribly funny.
Not as funny as Shakespeare. Now, I do adore funny moments, but the tragedies dear William wrote do have a soft, dark corner of my heart.
The macabre does look well on you.
I delight in the deliciously dark.
And what is our treat for today?
Of course I have to go with a piece from my sisters in spell.
Ah, you know, many have said this play brings bad luck to those who utter its name out of context.
Did you know that it is because the spells they utter hold true for those with the gift?
I remember when the spells were written.
Well, a spell written and placed in the famous Scottish tragedy, which is the shortest of Shakespeare's works.
Believed to be first performed in 1606, though it was officially published in the folio of 1623. We bring you
Macbeth.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
'Tis time, 'tis time.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
'Tis time, 'tis time.
Harper cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
'Tis time, 'tis time. Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Told that under cold stone days and nights have 31 sweltered venom sleeping got. Boil thou first in the charmed pot. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Fill Fillet of a finny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blindworm's sting, lizard's leg and howlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble.
Double, double toil and trouble,
fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of a dragon, tooth of wolf,
Witch's mummy, maw and gulf,
of the raven's salt sea shark, root of hemlock digged in the dark,
slivered in the moon's eclipse,
ditch delivered by a drab,
make the gruel thick and slab.
and thereto a tiger's chaudron for the ingredients of our cauldron. Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Then the charm is firm and good.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
Open locks, whoever knocks.
The
end.
I always feel energized with stories of whimsy and mystery.
Exactly what happened if you threw that potion together?
Ask Macbeth.
Well, I am delighted that we've shown our honored guests another type of story we will be embarking on at their visits to the Circle.
William was an honored member.
Perhaps the Flames could choose a playwright as of late.
Well, yes, there are many prolific in the modern era.
But the fire seems to depart for now. Honored guests, we must say goodbye.
Yes, my friend, I do believe I see the crackle of a story on those flames, but for next time.
The
fire burns low, with stories ever glowing.
Guests, honored guests, come, follow me. You mustn't stay at our house for too long, or you may become a permanent resident. Oh, but I do love watching plays in the theater. Maybe you could... No, you have to go. Stay close behind, my guests. Whatever you do, don't answer any voices you hear on the way out. But do come back. Hearing the Circle's stories brings me to life. You have been listening to The House of Branching Paths, a theatrical podcast experience created by Mark Kilmer and Caroline Miller. For more of our content, join us on our Patreon at patreon.com/The House of Branching Paths. For links to all of our social media and to find a comprehensive list of contributors, please follow our Linktree below. And for more stories like this and beyond, be sure to visit your local library. Thank you for joining us, honored guests, and remember, the fire may burn low, but the stories are ever glowing.